Simon & Schuster Audio presents The Children's Crusade, a novel by Anne Packer. Read by Cotter Smith, with Santino Fontana, Marin, Ireland, Thomas Sadoski, and Frederick Weller.
Chapter 1. California Live Oak. Bill Blair received his discharge from the Navy on a September morning in 1954. He'd served on hospital ships off Incheon and Pusan, Korea, for 2 years, and then completed his service at the Oak Knoll Naval Hospital, a cluster of wooden barracks on a grassy hillside in Oakland, California. On the afternoon of his discharge, he borrowed a convertible and headed across the Bay Bridge, an unplanned adventure that seemed like just the ticket for a fellow with some time on his hands. The sky was the same lovely shade of blue as the hyacinths in the bridal bouquet at his sister's wedding 4 months earlier. He'd gotten a weekend's leave and made it home to Michigan in time for a pre-wedding family breakfast, at which his years of service were so celebrated that the very thing he'd sought from the trip, a return to the life he'd known before open wounds and gangrenous limbs and amputations, slipped finally and irrevocably out of his grasp. Outside the church he stood with his parents in his dress blues and felt as lonely as he ever had in his life. He'd first seen San Francisco from the deck of the USS Haven under a sky choked with clouds. Now, as he drove, he found himself drawn less to the bright downtown than to the low-lying hills beyond it, beribboned with candy-colored houses. He stayed on the highway, heading for the next set of hills, and soon he was moving alongside the pale bay approaching the airport. Seagulls swooped out of the sky, tiny icons of the aircraft landing on the glittering tarmac. This was the first convertible he'd ever driven, and despite all his time at sea, he'd never had quite such a confrontation with the wind. His face was pummeled, his hair blown flatter than the bunk of an enlisted man. Up ahead of him on the prow of the car, the noble, brave Pontiac bore down on the unknown with an attitude of calm determination. Leaving the bay shore, Bill meandered for a mile or two until he found the King's Highway, or so it would be called if the name were rendered in English. This he knew from the bits of Spanish he'd picked up in Oakland. El Camino Real. This King's Highway boasted car lots and supermarkets. Nothing.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?